So we want to be treating life like it's an RPG. Now think about this for a second. When you're in an RPG, like at the start of the game, you get to choose your stats. Let's say, for example, Fallout, right? You come up and you've got so many points to spend, and you've got your different attributes. You've got your strength, perception, agility, whatever it is, luck, and all that kind of stuff. And you get to set a set amount of points into each of those trees, and that starts as your basis for the game. Now, real life is a little bit different. We don't just get given free stat points, for example. You have to start from zero and build up from there. So what is your ideal build? What stats, what skills do you want to develop and level up? Because we can level up all of these. So just think about your ideal build. Come on, what do we want to do? Do we want to improve our strength, our stamina, our speed, maybe our social skills, our agility, charisma, our income, our memory, our intelligence, our creativity, our discipline, focus, reflexes, balance? Literally anything can be on this list of skills, things that you can develop. So when thinking about this ideal build, you're going to want to think about traits that are going to go together well and that aren't. So just a quick example of this, and I'm probably going to be using a lot of fitness examples because it goes with the concept and it'll be easy for people to understand. So let's say that you want to be a massive bodybuilder, but you also want to be able to run like 2 miles or whatever. Those things aren't going to work. So you are going to have to make a compromise between maybe how strong and how big you get in the gym, and also how far you can run. You're going to have to find these things and meet them in the middle. So you're going to have to look out for these skills and attributes that are going to clash with each other. Now, ideally, we want to be improving as many skills as we can, and then come up with a training program that's going to work on all of those. So once you've got this ideal build, let's say, then you can then look at exercises that are going to benefit more than one skill or attribute or trait, or whatever you want to call it. We're going to look for exercises that are going to work on more than one thing. So let's take an example of this. Let's say you want to improve in your discipline and your fitness. Well, to improve in discipline, you've essentially just got to do hard work when you don't feel like doing it. And to improve in fitness, well, you can work out, you can eat cleaner, you can do, you can make lifestyle changes, having cold showers, all those sorts of things. So you can couple those together, and while you're going to be, improving in your fitness, you're also going to be improving in discipline. So you want to look for ways that you can increase more than one skill at a time. But it's important to realize your starting point. Like a level 5 character in a game is not going to be able to fight a level 31. You're going to have to wait until you've played more of the game and you've leveled up to a similar level to that level 30 enemy, right? An example of that would be like going to the gym for the first time and picking up a 20 kg dumbbell. Probably not a great idea if you've never been to the gym, and you might hurt yourself. You're much better off starting off with a weight that you can use for a decent amount of time, something that's more comfortable for you. And this goes for everything. Let's use discipline again as an example. You're not going to be able to go from being completely undisciplined to the next day be super disciplined. You might be able to do 1 or 2 things that you didn't want to do, and then build up your discipline like that, and that's great. But you've got to recognize that we're not going to be able to just go from 0 to 100. We're going to go from 0 to 1, and then 1 to 2, and so on. Now, we want to make sure that we're choosing activities that aren't too hard but aren't too easy. Now again, to go to a game example, if you've got to a high level in a game and you go back to the starting area, well, everything just dies in one hit and it's kind of boring, right? That would be like going for a light jog when you frequently run marathons, for example, right? It's just too boring, it's easy, it's not a challenge. But then we don't want to go for anything that's too challenging either, because that's going to discourage us and put us off, especially if it's something that we generally won't be able to physically do. So you need to be honest with yourself about your skill level and where you're at, where your starting point is. We want to be aiming for the max benefit per time that we put in. So, for example, you might choose to work out outside, because that way you're getting your workout in, and also you're going to get a load of vitamin D from the sun and all that kind of stuff. So it's just looking at the set of stats that you want to increase and thinking, how can I do both? How can I do more than one of these at the same time? And by taking this approach to things like this, you realize very quickly that you can train everything. My ability to speak on camera, It's not brilliant, I'll be honest. But it's a lot better than it was when I first started doing this. You can improve and make progress in literally any area of life. You've just got to take the time to think, right, how can I do this, and come up with a plan for it. And design the plan so that it's enjoyable, so that you're actually going to then do it. So start treating life like an RPG. And remember, ideas without action are worthless.